would be the best move for James. However, LeBron's longtime friend and business partner, Maverick Carter, recently insisted on ESPN's Real Talk podcast no one pushed LeBron to go back to Cleveland.
I think most importantly, it was a decision that he wanted to make in his heart. We didn't push him to do it. We don't push him to do anything. If he asks our opinion or what do we think about the pros and the cons and think through it, we help him think through it. We don't push him. And listen, LeBron's a 29-year-old man with lots of money, got a wife, 2 kids, 1 on the way. He makes his own decisions. You're not going to be able to push him either way. He will help him think through things and then kind of help him see through things. And then he makes his own decision that's in his heart because ultimately he has to live with it. I'm not the one that has to show up and play games for any team.
All right, so the question is, do you believe what Maverick had to say, Stephen A?
Well, first of all, let me say this. It's very rare because I'm very fond of Maverick. Maverick's a real nice guy. Ken Ball knows a lot about the game of basketball. Actually been getting his workout on. You'd be proud of him, too. He's been working out a lot. But I'll tell you this. I'm disgusted with him that he would even answer that question. Anybody who knows LeBron James, he's nobody's puppet, Skip. Say whatever you want about him. He's nobody's puppet. LeBron does what LeBron wants to do. Will he ask a question? Will he seek counsel? Sure, he will. But in the end, LeBron makes his own decision. Now, I will throw a caveat in there. I am not qualified to measure the level of influence the lovely Savannah has on LeBron James. I am quite sure. And right, he's telling the absolute truth. It doesn't matter what Maverick and Rich Paul and Randy and those boys want. They might give advice. They might give their input, particularly if asked. But keep in mind, they work for LeBron. It is not the other way around. And part of the reason they are as thorough as they are is because LeBron is as thorough as he is. And he is all about business. And in the end, nobody is going to tell him what to do. A matter of fact, if you want to get out of his inner circle, the best way to do it is by trying to tell him what to do, because then he'll push you out of his inner circle. This is how he operates. It's how he has always been. When he went to Miami years ago, regardless of what they tried to say last minute, wasn't no last minute. They knew they were going to do that months in advance. But here's what happened. You had some dudes that may have been waffling a little bit. And LeBron is like, what we going to do? This is what we said we're going to do. I'm here. I'm going to be a man of my word. This is what I told you I was going to do, and I'm going to do. That's how he operates. There is no puppeteering where LeBron James is concerned unless he's the one doing it to somebody else. It damn sure ain't being done to him.
Okay, so help me out. I don't know Maverick. I don't know Randy. I don't know Rich. Yeah. How much does LeBron love those 3? He
loves them to death.
Like to death, right? You told me a couple weeks ago, you said it's way beyond even the Dwayne Wade friendship or relationship,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. Dwayne Wade is very special to LeBron. He is not those 3 guys.
Okay, so do I think that Maverick Carter ever once said, LeBron, you got to go home? No, I do not think he ever said that. Do I think there was some subtle pressure applied by all 3 of those men to LeBron? Yes, I do, and I'll tell you why. Help me out here. Maverick Carter established an office for his firm in what city?
Cleveland.
Cleveland. Rich Paul established his office in Cleveland. So I was told that in 4 years that those 2, quote-unquote, lived in Miami. Not only did they have their offices, their home bases back home, but that they never once got Miami or state of Florida license tags. They always had Ohio tags on their cars. That qualifies to me as subtle pressure on the king to say, hey, God, we miss home. You don't think every once in a while those 3 said, man, I miss home. I miss the way that is. I miss the way that is. And you don't think there were subtle things about the Miami lifestyle that they got tired of, because everybody gets a little tired of this or that in Miami. Raising kids there, putting down roots there. Sometimes it's hard on some people because it's a great place to visit, but some people would not want to live there for various lifestyle reasons. Okay.
Without getting into people's business, please understand that there are flights to Miami all the time. Rich and those dudes flew to Miami all the time. They didn't just stay there.
That's a burden,
they flew
man.
back.
That's hard.
It's not hard. It's not hard because there's home and then there's Miami. It ain't a burden for me not to visit Miami. Or to visit Miami rather. It would be a burden for me not to be able to visit. But it's not a burden for me to visit. But even I, with the key to South Beach, ain't trying to live down there. I like New York. That's my home. Hollis, Queens, baby. I'm always going to be a part of Hollis, Queens. I don't care if I get a crib in L.A. I don't care if I visit Miami or whatever. I'm always going to go back to Hollis, Queens. That is where I'm from. What I'm saying to you is this. Did it ever occur to you that they never relocated? Because there was never an intent to stay forever in Miami. That it was always, so there's no pressure. It was planned. Did it ever occur to you that it was always a likely possibility that, okay, they would return to Cleveland? Not to mention in the offseason, where was LeBron? Akron.
Sure.
So the point that I'm trying to make to you is that if that's where he goes in the offseason, why do they need to move to Miami when they're gonna be right where he's at in the off season for 5 to 6 months out of the year?
A whole lot of folks in Miami thought this was till death do them part.
Unfortunately for them, that's what they get. Just like
I think Dwayne thought that.
No,
I think
he didn't.
Pat Riley thought that.
No, he didn't. Dwayne Wade always knew. Dwayne Wade always knew it was possible, and Pat Riley is supremely confident, so he may have thought otherwise, but that's the only reason. Not because of anything that they got to LeBron James. You have to remember, right here on SportsCenter, for SportsCenter, here at ESPN, in the year 2007, I sat down for a one-on-one with LeBron James from New York City before the Cavaliers played the Knicks. And LeBron looked into the camera and told Cleveland that day, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might want to leave. It may be time. I'm not sure. I'm going to wait until free agency, and then I will make my decision. I went on SportsCenter the next day, and I said, he's out. He's out. I said, because listen, you got to read the tea leaves, man. The dude said that this is his home. Grew up 30 minutes away. He told the city to their face, I think I need something different. I think I need another challenge. But he never once said, I'll never be back to Cleveland. He never once severed ties with the Akron and the Cleveland community. They may have severed it with him burning his jersey, doing all of that stuff. But the point is, he never did it to them, and neither did his boys. And that's what you have to understand. So all of this stuff about pressure is nonsense. They got to get their input. Ain't nobody pressuring LeBron. LeBron gonna do what he want to do.
Okay, but
in
LeBron's heart of hearts,
what?
Did he not know that his boys would jump for joy if he said, let's go home?
Wait a minute. That's fair, Skip. But listen, at the same time, your boys are working for you. They're getting paid pretty well to do it. And oh, by the way, ain't nobody asking you to relocate to Miami. So what's the big deal? You know, the point that I'm trying to make to you is don't come to me talking about they pressured him. They're not trying to pressure LeBron. They're his boys, and they want him to do what he believes is best for him. Because if LeBron ain't happy, do you really want to work for him? Think about that. You really want to work for him if he's unhappy?
I get that.
Well,
but there's such a thing
saying.
as subtle pressure.
It's not
just
pressure.
Little lines you drop. Man,
if there's any kind, listen, I don't believe there was a speck of pressure, and I know all of them, but I got to tell you this. If there's any pressure, it had to come from Savannah.
Well,
because that's the only person.
Sure.
I'm saying that's the only kind of pressure that could move LeBron.
You're just saying they made it clear.
Just little. He just knew they would like to go home.
Who wouldn't like to go home?
Well, a lot of people wouldn't like to go home.
Really?
Yeah.
Who? Well, I don't know anybody that don't want to go home. I really don't know that. I really don't know that. Skip, everybody want to go home. Everybody want to go home. Everybody want to go home, Skip.
Do you remember the great novelist Thomas Wolfe? I'm going to bring up a literary reference here.
Go ahead.
You Can't Go Home Again. Do you remember that book?
Well, evidently it was wrong.
Read that
It must have been fiction.
I don't know about that.
He's home now?
LeBron might learn you can't go home again.
What do you mean he learned? Let me tell you something right now. Let me put y'all on notice.
Hey, sometimes people go home and they say, wait, I've outgrown home.
Cleveland, let me tell you something. First of all, it's going to be easy because we're going to put it on blast right here now. It's first take, baby. First of all, those fans in Cleveland are going to be, off the chain, which is going to be an improvement because in South Beach, You got folks that didn't show up until halftime, second quarter. The home base, those fans, listen, the organization is first class. The city is spectacular, as you well know. The scenery is just, Lord. Anyway, the point is that from a fan perspective for the games, some of them didn't show up till the second quarter. You'll have tailgate parties for basketball games in Cleveland. These people are going to be hyped. Now, they better make sure they don't mess with LeBron. They talk about Cal Time. Don't mess with this man. He has shown you he will leave. You better treat him right this time, because before, there were some people in that city and that organization. We don't talk about this much, but they didn't take care of him.
Wait. You suggesting they need to now kiss his feet?
Well, he's the GM. You said
I'm saying to you, leave the man alone. Don't be talking behind his back. Don't be sitting there trying to sully his name. Don't be trying to character assassinate him. Don't be trying to do all of that stuff this time around.
You better
treat
leave
that
the
man
crew
right.
alone. Am I right?
He better leave all of them alone.
That's what I'm saying.
Better leave all of them alone.
Okay.
Remember back in the day, it used to be like Roll Tide? Remember?
Roll Tide.
He set it up
Back
for
in
me.
the day.
That's my man. Please.
Nick Saban.
I love